And I've seen that a lot of people are realizing this and waking up and going, oh, wait a second. I don't have to just go into the big healthcare system, be an employee, and then, just be another number, essentially. When you're a partner in a private practice, you have ownership, you've got stake, you've got say, you've got autonomy, you've got an opinion and it's heard. And, I think that is super important as we move forward in healthcare as a whole, because we need more of that. So what I want to talk about is the difference that I'm seeing with the shift being people going straight to being that of an employed physician with a large healthcare system or hospital, to a lot of new, I don't want to say new grads because they're not new grads, but fellows coming out of fellowship are, preferring to go the route of finding a really solid private practice with ancillary services, strong partnership track with buy-in opportunity. And they're still willing to take kind of that upfront hit to then have that equity long-term, have that passive income, whether it be off the practice, off the ASCs. And a lot of times I think, historically speaking, physicians that are coming out of fellowship or coming out of medical school and residency have shied away from this because, let's face it, you have tons of medical debt and bills that you're paying on top of living expenses. A lot of times you are still providing for your family, you have children. And so the safest and most stable bet is to go right into the healthcare system, have that strong base salary so that you can start to chip away at those things. And while I think that is wise, and while I think that is not a bad choice, the way I think about it is like renting versus buying a home. Renting a home makes sense in certain situations, but if you have the money or you have the means to buy, it's worth taking that hit up front, because then every payment that you make is going to come back to you when you eventually sell that home and or, refinance and chip away at your mortgage. So same concept. I'm seeing a lot of physicians kind of wake up and realize the autonomy that they gain in private practice, the entrepreneurship that they can have when they're in private practice. And yes, it does mean taking a year or two to really ramp and build even more than what you were doing before. And a lot of times that skill set isn't taught in medical school. So a lot of people shy away from it because they simply think, I can't do that. I'm not capable. I don't have the marketing capacity. would be moving somewhere where I don't know people. I don't know the community. So how am I going to build up a patient system or a referral system? And I, again, understand all of this rationale behind it, because when you do have bills to be paid, if you're in a lot of medical debt, sometimes it is wiser to start in that hospital or that healthcare system. But I have seen a huge shift, and that is that most people that I'm speaking to coming out of fellowship or coming out of residency, they are wanting to go the private practice route because they're realizing, hey, wait a second, I'm already swimming in debt. I already have bills to pay. If I go the private practice route, there's a larger chance that I can pay them off quicker in the long run and then build kind of what I call an entrepreneur, right? They're building their business within a practice and they're getting a stake in it. So if you find a strong private practice that has PT and MRI and imaging, and they have pain, and they've got spine, and they've got all of your upper and lower extremities and specialties, and you can actually work within that. And there's a 1 to 2 year partnership track to where you kind of earn your skin in the game. I say go for it, because you're going to make more money in the long run. Yes, it's an upfront hit, but if you can make it work financially, it's a win-win in my mind. And I've seen that a lot of people are realizing this and waking up and going, oh, wait a second, I don't have to just go into the big healthcare system, be an employee, and then, just be another number, essentially. Thanks for tuning in to the Healthy Careers Podcast. In 2024, we reached over 32,000 listeners and ranked in the top 15% of all podcasts. We're proud to have SharePro Health as a sponsor and are currently looking for 2 more partners in 2025. If you're looking to connect with healthcare leaders, providers, and innovators, we'd love to spread the word about your service, product, or business. Reach out to me, Maddie, for more details. When you are in a partnership and you have other partners, you are growing something bigger than just yourself, and or like a mega hospital system that at the end of the day, whether you're there or not, they probably don't really care that much and they'll just replace you with somebody else. When you're a partner in a private practice, you have ownership, you've got stake, you've got say, you've got autonomy, you've got an opinion and it's heard. And, I think that is super important as we move forward in healthcare as a whole. because we need more of that. We need less of upper management and administrators who have never worked a day in healthcare telling us how to do things based on reimbursement rates and how they can make money, and more physicians and clinical people and healthcare professionals calling the shots and saying, hey, this is what works for patient outcomes. This is what helps with patient satisfaction, because we know that the doctor-patient relationship is the most important. And that is how we fix healthcare, is we stop focusing on the money. We stop focusing on the greed that comes from the insurance companies. We find ways to add ancillary services to recoup some of that money from reimbursement. And so if you can make this work, go for it. And